is I want to just do a quick talk and tell you guys about the upcoming program for the semester, which you guys will actually have a decent discount on going forward. If you want to do it, I'm not saying you have to do it, but it will be available to you as well as everybody else who wants to do the program as well. So let me share my screen so you can see all the stuff on how I got it broken down. Come on, let me move this out of the way. There we go. Uh-huh. Program. Okay. Oh no, not some program. Fall. Semester 3. Okay. So this is how the schedule is broken down. So you guys start your class on the 24th because today's the 17th and today's our last class, right? So you have a full week before your class starts. It kind of de-stress, move in, get loose, enjoy your time. You've worked hard throughout this break while also having a little bit of fun because I haven't bombarded you with too much stuff. And then our first class would be on the 29th. Now, these classes are totally different than what we did during the summer course. In the summer course, I had to teach the material and then do questions. In the lecture, in the semester courses, I'm mainly going to just focus on application. I'm not going to focus on teaching because you've already gone through a week's worth of doing that, right? So it's pointless for me to sit there and teach it again when they're already teaching it to you. So it'll be more focused on the application of the material. And if there's any hiccup on any concepts, we'll discuss it and we'll go over it. And then the way I have it broken down is we have 5 classes before your class 1. These are all group classes. Am I recording this? Yes, I am. These are all group classes. And then I also have the classes 4 and 5 for the first test at area before your quizzes. And the way I have this set up is this: class 4 and class 5 will mainly focus on high yield stuff. So for instance, class 4 before quiz 1, I'm really going to focus on the big material you have to know before you go into the quiz 1. Okay? Because the classes that I'm going to be doing before that is going to be doing questions over the material that you've gone over, right? So the quizzes, a lot of times, they aren't completely up to date with where your last class was, right? So with that being said, the quizzes, I'm going to focus on the class before, like really hard on pertaining to focusing on what topics you will see most likely on the quiz. Okay. Now, with CAS 1, it's the same thing. And then the quizzes with the second block, it's no different. We always have a class a day or 2 days before. So you have a free day between to kind of go over the material, any questions that you had from our session together. And then we continue on, and that continues throughout the whole semester. It's the same protocol throughout the whole semester. Now, that being said, your first test is within a month, and your last test is within a month. Now, your third test is also in a month. The only test that you have a little bit more wiggle room is your second test. Your second test is about a month and a few days. You're literally running all the semester. Okay? So it's literally you have a CAS at the beginning of a month, a CAS is at the end of the month. Okay? So that's essentially how this semester is broken up. With that being said, I have these classes broken up in a way that you get ample time to go over the material. It's going to be 2-hour sessions. That's not going to change. I'm going to do Socrates just like I did with the break. Let me see what else do I want to say. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to say was pertaining to get out of here. The other thing I wanted to say was pertaining to this. So the folder access is going to be different now. So since the way I have it set up on the buying aspect, and you'll see that, it's broken up into tests instead of buying per class. So you buy a bundle for cast 1, or you buy a bundle for cast 2, or you buy a bundle for cast 3 or cast 4, and you're going to get all the classes for each one of those. And each one of them is about 5 to 6 classes that we meet together for about 2 hours. And it's always going to be on a weekend. It's always going to be Saturday or Sunday. And then sometimes we do weekdays if you have a quiz towards the middle or the end of the week. If you have a quiz towards the middle or the end of the week, then we have a class in the middle or towards the end of the week, 2 days before. But outside of that is generally on the weekends, making it extremely accessible for you guys, as well as accessible for me, since I'll be doing rotations by then. And then the last thing I wanted to discuss with you before I started talking about pricing was you will still also get the access to the Boards and Beyond. That doesn't change. You'll get access to Boards and Beyond, and I will... You know what? I may actually change it. Since you guys are going into Med 3, I may do Pathoma instead for you guys. What I may do is buy a prescription for or a subscription to Pathoma, so you guys have access to that throughout the whole semester. What are you guys' thought on that instead? You want to do that instead, the Pathoma versus the Boards and Beyond? Because in all honesty, in Med 3 and Med 4 now, Pathoma is more the guy you want to go towards anyways. Boards and Beyond is good if you have to go back to look at year 1 material. If you have to go back to look at year 1, Boards and Beyond is really good. But outside of that, Pathoma is usually, in all honesty, where you want to go.
Okay,
I'm talking. I'm sorry.
I said, okay, it sounds good.
Okay, I'm talking to Sketchy also to try to figure out something with them, where I can maybe do some kind of bundle or some kind of setup with that. I'll keep you guys in the know-how. I got to meet up with them, but I'm trying to make it easier for you guys to get access to all the resources that essentially is in the Pass Tracker, right? So I'm asking you to do all these things on the Pass Tracker. Watch these Sketchy videos, and you're like, oh, now I have to buy a subscription to Sketchy. Cool, great. Now I have to spend more money. Like, I don't like that. So I want to try to figure something out with that end of it. But having the Pathoma, I think, is really going to allow you guys to be able to watch those videos and do the Pathoma without having to buy another subscription for Pathoma. But now, pricing wise. So first things first, the guys that did the summer, you guys get a $200 discount. That's the first thing that happens. So the semester is set up. Here, let me go to it. Squarespace. And the reason why I said I wanted to do a $200 discount is because essentially we've already done Immuno. There's nothing new for me to teach you outside of you applying the information, right? So there's no reason for me to sit here and charge you the same price I charge everyone else who hasn't done Immuno. So the way it's broken down, okay, so here's the packages. So the complete package is $500. You're going to get $200 off. So essentially, you're going to get a whole semester, all these courses, all these sessions for only $300. Okay. So that's essentially how much it'll be. If you want to do each one of them separately, then we can discuss that portion of it. But because there's 4 blocks, you see, there's block 1, block 2, block 3, and block 4. Each block has their own prices to them. So if you want to do them separately, I guess we could do it in a way where we can like do some percentage or something like that. But that's essentially how much it would be. Yes. Yes, so essentially the whole 4 blocks is only $300 because you're getting $200 off because you did the summer course with me. Because I don't want to charge you for the first block, and I'm discounting also the second block because the second block you talk a little bit more about neoplasias, and I was like, I mean, I'm talking already about neoplasias. Yeah, I'll have to refresh it and talk more in depth with it with you guys, but I mean, there's no reason for me to give you the same price. So that's why it's that price. Okay, so essentially you're getting $200 off for doing the whole package, the complete package. And if that's something that you want to do, you know, I'm going to send an email out to everyone who was in the program and anybody who's in the program but not signed up in one of the live sessions. Send me an email, right? So I can talk with you and give you your discount because technically you did do the program. You just did it on a remote, non-live lecture format, which is fine. It's just I want to make sure you get your discount as well. So that's essentially how it's broken down. Does anyone have any questions about anything pertaining to how the semester program is going to be broken up? It's going to be the same time, 5 to 7. But it'll be Saturday, Sunday, or during the weekdays. Now, the weekdays, if you guys have class around 5 to 7, then we'll figure out something out with that. But I don't believe you do. I think if I recollect, you guys end class at, because I have it up. Here, let me see. You guys end class. I think I can find out for you guys right now. Show all. No, I don't want. Okay, so injury, da da da. Okay, why is it like that? I want it in weeks. Week, there we go. So you guys finish class. Oh, yeah. So you guys finish class at 6. So that means that on the weekdays, we may have to do a little bit later. Like maybe like 7 to 9 or something like that, because you guys do have class from 1 to 6. And we'll work that out because I know I cannot do any earlier, because if we go any earlier, I guarantee you I'm probably going to run into issues with my rotation stuff. What days on the weekdays? So on the weekdays, it kind of depends. And what I mean by when I say that is I have it set up in a way that if you have a quiz, so for instance, here, you have a quiz on this day, but it's on a Monday. So we essentially can do a Saturday and it'll be 2 days before your quiz. However, sometimes you have a quiz on a Friday. So I have to do a session on a Wednesday. So then you have 2 days before your quiz. So that's essentially how I have it. So unless it's like towards the end of the week, we won't be doing weekday classes. So weekday sessions are generally once or twice a week. So for instance, when you start off in CAS with, let's say, HEMONC and MSK, the first week you only have 1, and then the second week you have 1, but then I want to say some weeks you have 2. Like for instance, here we have 2 in this week. Also, the other thing is if you have a formative, I tend to try to not schedule a session if you have a formative that weekend. The reason why is this. The way that these sessions are made up is to keep you accountable and to keep you up to date with the material, not to sit there and berate you with questions. Okay? It's to be the check, to be like, hey, you need to make sure you do questions on this. You should have done these questions throughout the week. If you haven't, here's your questions that you should have done throughout the week. And if you did, great. Here's more questions you can do that for the week. Okay. And the formatives essentially do that kind of like they have questions that you're supposed to answer that are pertaining to the week. So it's almost like its own set of check. So I try to stay away from doing that. However, here it's different for your cast 3 because you literally have a formative. I don't know why they did this crap. You have a formative, and then you have your cast 3 on the Tuesday. So literally you have a Monday that you go over the formative, and then your cast 3. I don't know, but that's how it's set up. Okay. So with that being said, we have a class that week with the formative. But outside of that, I try to make it as minimal as I can on the weeks that you have formatives. Okay. Great. Any other questions? And you'll get the calendar. You'll get all this stuff accessible to you. And I have on the calendar, your quiz is on here, your cast is on here. I got days that you're off on here. For instance, you're off on Carnival. And you'll have access to that. Yeah, I can send you the calendar today. I'm fine with that. I don't have an issue with it because it's just a calendar. So you'll be able to make your little notes on it or download it to your respective Google calendars that you have. But that's how I have it set up. I've written out when each session ends, when they stop giving you lectures, right? And when you're then in your study period. So yeah, so that's how it's set up. I'm going to send this out to you today so you get access to it. Is there any other questions anyone has? No? We good? All right, perfect. The last thing I want to say is the same thing with, and I don't see this being an issue, but the same thing with the summer course is if I can't get enough people, I won't do it, right? So I need to at least have like 5 people who do the program for me to be able to be like, yeah, this is something that is cool. I can do it. But if not, then I will definitely, talk to you guys and we can figure out something else. Because I still want to give you guys some kind of discount, even though I'm not doing the group. So we can maybe work out like personal sessions at a discounted price, like one-on-one 2-hour sessions or 1-hour sessions for a discounted price. But that's something that we'll discuss if it comes down to that. Okay. Sound good? All right. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your break. It was a pleasure for me to sit down and essentially go over this stuff with you guys. I'm actually like a little upset and sad because I'm like, man, you guys have grown so much since the beginning. When I used to talk to you guys about cytokines and stuff, and now all of a sudden you're at the point where you're talking about neoplasias and already talked about all the disorders of immunosystem and all that stuff. Man, you guys are gonna do amazing. I don't doubt it for one bit that you guys will do amazing. And I'm gonna, even if I don't do the program, even if I don't do the semester program, I'm gonna constantly check up on you guys, right? Just to see how things are going, how beneficial the course was and everything, because it's good for me to kind of get feedback from you guys and see how beneficial this really prepared you for Med 3, right? And your first cast, right? I want to see those hundreds, or not. Hundreds is very overreaching, right? But I want to at least see A's because I know you guys can do A's, especially since all the time that you guys have put into this program. You guys, I know without a doubt, can get A's. All right, guys. And then I'll see you guys on, when you guys start in Med 3. All right. Bye, guys.